you know. It is truly, 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 truly amazing to be here. You know, as I sat up here on the stage and just listened, and I've listened throughout the day, I'm reminded of a recent visit to North Carolina and having the privilege to meet some of the comrades, friends, and young, fierce revolutionaries that are not in training, they're in action. You know? And I don't want to put this young sister on the spot, but I walked away from, I flew away from North Carolina, and something she said really stuck with me. And it stuck with me so much so that I decided to write a poem about this word that she said. And I'm not going to recite that right now, but it's just going to lead segue into what I'm going to say. But she talked about feeling like she was with her soulmates. And that had such a heartwarming feeling, you know, like as I sit here today, and I'm truly understanding what this young sister was talking about. You know, to feel like you're in a room with your soulmates. And I was sitting and I was thinking about, let me go to the dictionary and look up the word soulmates. Because, you know, as a poet, sometimes I go and I look that up, you know, and so I went to, like, you know, Google's dictionary is called Wikipedia. And it says soulmate is someone that you have a natural affinity for. And I said, oh, that's kind of what Che was saying. You know, he said a true revolutionary is guided by a great feeling of love. And I think about Che, and I think about Fidel, and Raul, and Vilma Espin, and Tania, and all of those who, guided by that great feeling of love, decided that they could take on the beast and defeat the beast. And that's what I call a soulmate. And then I think about the words of Malcolm X, by any means necessary, another soulmate. And then the words of his wife, Mother Betty Shabazz, when she was giving his eulogy, and she said, we are still by any means necessary. She is a soulmate. And then I just kind of like sitting there reflecting on this long flight. And I remembered some of our other allies and friends that we've lost. I think about Shaka Sankofa. I think about Patrice Lumumba, Thomas Sankara, and Comrade Mike recently posted a video that gave me some more insight to the struggle in Burkina Faso. And I think about, you know, just what Mother Moses was thinking about. And the words of Lolita Lebron to the young students in Puerto Rico who were standing up for their rights around education. As we go forward today, you know, I want to just say a few words a little bit about just what we've been facing in Boston. And when we think about education reform, and you know, we ain't about reform. You know, I was talking with Comrade Gab earlier, you know, I said, you know, as a fashion designer, one of the first things we said, like, we don't believe in uniformity in fashion. We want to blow up the box. We get thinking outside the box, you know, just blow it up all together. And I think that that's really the movement that we've seen. And it is so true when you think about what mainstream media has said about youth and young adults today, the forgotten population, forgotten generation. You know, they don't want to broadcast this on Fox News. I see that our comrades here in 5th, we had Glenn Beck running scared. Y'all know that, right? I mean, he was practically like just giving us free airspace on Fox News. You know, we don't even have to like sweat that. And it was just really shows me that, you know, we are not the forgotten population. We are not the forgotten generation. And that although that the policies policies and reforms that are being put in place now is being put in place by the leader, the new leader of U.S. imperialism, who happens to be someone of African American descent. It's truly disturbing to see how we've gone from no child left behind to racing to the top. How do we move from no child left behind to racing to the top? And it made me think about, I was reading an article recently that Arnie Duncan claimed in the documentary Waiting for Superman, who I believe is a Hollywood character. So I don't understand how we waiting on Superman. But he said that this is the civil rights issue of our time, according to him, and that he was having a Rosa Parks moment. And in that same vein, there were hedge fund bankers that were having a casino-style themed night, raising funds for charter schools, where a Goldman Sachs banker said that this was the civil rights issue of his generation. So I said to myself, Goldman Sachs, are these usually older white gentlemen that are the bankers at Goldman Sachs? So I know they must have been through the civil rights movement. So I just couldn't understand, like maybe he was at Woodstock or I don't know. And then I can only imagine what it is that, you know, their coalition looks like. So I wanted to paint a picture about what our coalition in Boston looks like. And you know, we don't have fancy invitations inviting people to come to resorts to have casino-themed fundraisers. We have, this is our invitation. This is our struggle. And on our struggle, you see our present and our future on our flyer. These are our children marching through the streets of Boston. And these are elementary school children. In conjunction with community and labor and parents and staff, literally shut down a school committee hearing a few weeks ago to where they couldn't even speak. And to see even now they want to try to pit student against student and school against school, but our focus is on continuing that solidarity, because when you have children as young as 6 standing up and saying, not on our backs are you going to close our schools and because you messed up the budget. Imagine what they're going to do when they're 16. And so, the struggle continues. We understand that it's going to get rough. And I just really wanted to, you know, this is a really sad thing that I'm about to share as I close out. But I'm going to share this, and it's an excerpt of a letter that President Obama wrote for his back-to-school speech. And he says, nobody gets to write your destiny but you. Your future is in your hands. Your life is what you make of it. And nothing, absolutely nothing, is beyond your reach. So as long as you're willing to dream big, so as long as you're willing to work hard, so as long as you're willing to stay focused on your education, this is a country that gives all of its daughters and all of its sons a fair chance. A chance to make the most of their lives and a chance to fulfill their potential. So, at my conversation with poet Langston Hughes, you know, I went back to 1938 and we were discussing Let America Be America Again. I understand that this has become an historical illusion, not a catalyst for change, because the true catalyst for change is in our community. It is in this room. It is in our children and our young people and our elders. Community and labor coming together. And so I want to say this is the last thing. It's a quote that Malcolm X had said, and I want to share this with the youth and and the younger folk in the room is that Malcolm said in 1964, we will encourage young people to launch their own independent study and then give us their analysis and their suggestions. Malcolm had the right idea. Fidel Castro had the right idea with the battle of ideas. And understanding that this is where the future lies, but this is also where the present stands. Thank you very much.